Hey there everybody, I just wanted to make a quick video detailing how I'm able to record acoustic drums in my duplex apartment without getting noise complaints, as well as just going over some of the equipment that I use because I've had some people asking me about my setup. So the first thing I've considered, of course, in terms of the volume of my setup is where I have been able to place my drum set and actually record. So I am in the farthest away position that I possibly can be. I've got a very short hallway and then an entire living room between the neighbors and myself. And the next thing to kind of help go along with that is I've got these just little metal brass, I think they're brass maybe. I've got these little hangers here that I've used to actually hang up a blanket over the door to help reduce some of that noise as well. The next consideration that I've given to keeping the noise down is actually the muffling, right? So usually when I practice, I've got 4 clothespins on my ride cymbal. I've also got these binder clips that I'm using to just keep a kitchen towel over the snare drum and on my makeshift bass drum as well. And these just kind of help a little bit more to filter out some of those frequencies. Of course, I would probably never perform like this, but as far as getting a noticeable, cheap, easy and efficient, effective sound dampening and some muffling on the drum set, I feel like this has gone actually a pretty long way in accomplishing that goal, and it's really helped out quite a bit. And that's really all that I've needed to do in order to keep the noise down, of course. Continuing talking about the drums and what equipment I'm using, for my snare drum here, I'm running Remo Renaissance top and bottom heads. And then on the bottom, I actually did this to cut the sound down a little bit, but I've ended up falling in love with the actual sound, including the volume benefits that it gives as well. I've got these Black Swamp coated and uncoated steel cables here on the bottom, and these have been really awesome as far as the tone that they give and the volume benefits as well, as far as keeping that in the quietest sound range possible. I've been really happy with this. As far as my bass drum is concerned, I've kind of got a little bit of a ghetto setup here. So I've got a 16 by 16 floor tom from a Ludwig Accent Combo set with Evans EC2s on it. And then through here, you can kind of see I've got just the floor tom to bass drum conversion using some Pearl hardware here just to kind of facilitate that. I had to sell all my equipment for COVID. So that's kind of what I'm working with as far as a bass drum is concerned for this setup. And lastly, talking about equipment for my cymbals, I use these really old Zildjian 15-inch hi-hats that I traded a friend for. I don't really know much about them or where they come from originally, but they sound awesome. And then I've got a K Special Dry 21-inch ride cymbal, which sounds pretty good with the recording setup that I've got here. And then for microphones, I've got a Shure SM57 on the snare. And then above, you can kind of see, I'll back up here. About here, I'll show with my head for reference about how tall this condenser mic is up top. But this is the Focusrite CM25. I had to check to make sure that was actually right. That I'm using to capture some of that awesome cymbal sound that I'm getting. And both of those microphones are running into a Scarlett 2i2 interface. And with all that out of the way, I'll move on to some solo playing examples here so that you can get an idea for what kind of sounds I'm getting. I'll also include some of the iPhone camera for anybody interested, just to see what this would end up sounding like without the actual microphones, just for anybody interested in what kind of sounds that produces.